Hello and welcome to another review here at Frontline Model Hobbies, and we've got something awesome 109 G10 by Trumpeter in 24 scale. I have been waiting for this kit since it was first released back in 2003. It's about 23, well, it's 20 years old, not 23. 20 years old. So I've been waiting that long for at least any one of these 109s to be in my stash. Now, to be fair, I've already had a look in the box and it is a mixed bag. Don't forget, it's old school Trumpeter, but it's not that bad. But you'll see it in a second. But it's awesome, absolutely awesome. So let's have a look in the box. I'm going to shut up as usual. Let's have a look. Okay, so sorry about the over exuberance at the beginning. Exuberance? What have I been reading? A word a day calendar? Oh my god. Anyway, so it's not your usual digital art on the front of the box. Standard artwork that you used to get. Obviously, like I said, it was 2003. I'm sticking to that, but I'm sure that somebody's going to, I think you'll find that it's 2001. I don't care. But anyway, so yes, I don't normally do this, but if you see like a date like this, 2019, don't assume that it's new. It's a reissue. So there we have it. But anyway, let's have a look in the box. Dingle, dangle, fangle. Here we go. So, wow, we're greeted with something huge, and that wing's big as well. Look at the size of that. Anyway, top and bottom wings, and this, that and the other. We've got both halves of the fuselage with the horizontal stabilizer bits and bobs. Also, we've got the clear parts. So you've got two clear sprues for, oh sorry, a clear sprue for the two fuselage halves. Then you've got some more bits and bobs. Don't assume this is going to be like the Great Wall Hobby F14, where it's got about 40 different sprues because of the scale. You only get a few. So there we have it. And then you've got your colour call-outs. You only get two schemes. Either way, they'll look interesting, look nice. Done by a master, so I'll explain that in a second. You've got your instructions, and obviously your decals in there. And then you get a box in a box. Yay! Boo! In this box, you get two sprues for the canopies. So you get two, which I'll explain again in a second. You get rubber wheels, where you can get resin replacements. You've got a sheet for the instrument panel, and you've got the usual old school Trumpeter, and you get springs in there as well. So anyway, so bear with me 2 seconds and I'll show you the instructions. All right, so basically with the decals, I'm going to sort of not semi-gloss over them, I'm going to go through them, but you can pause it anytime as you wish. So front main page, you've got your usual blurb and shit and this, that and the other. Turning over, you've got your sprue call out, so if you've got anything missing, you can refer to that, this, that and the other. And then it's straight onto the build. So unlike most aircraft kits, instead of working on the cockpit, you're doing the engine. So you've got the DB605. Not sure it's an AS, no, I'm not quite sure, but it's a 605. You've got the Mark 108 cannon going on there, which is a nice feature. And then again, you can see it sticking out and putting all the rest of the engine bits and bobs on there. And then you're straight over to onto the cockpit. So don't assume you've got everything in here of the cockpit. There is going to be a lot of bits missing on the back of the engine to the firewall, but either way, 131 machine comms going on. You've only got a long tail wheel. You haven't got the shorter tail wheel, so you can't do any other version of G10. So look at your reference. Also, you've got the latest style with the hard fix trim tabs for the G10. So again, look at your reference. Moving on to the cockpit sidewall, putting all the detail on, and then it's literally step 13 and you're putting the halves together. So like I said, it's not very complicated, this one going together. Putting your cowlings on, you can have them closed or open. So either or, your option, so you can super detail it to your heart's content. Putting the landing gear together, that spring is for your landing gear. So a bit of a gimmick, but either way, and replace that bloody wheel. It's shite. I hate rubber tyres. But anyway, got 20mm cannons, wing fixed cannons, which is really nice to have. You've got your radiator flaps, and again, all the flaps going on there. You've got your ailerons and rudder flap assembly going on there, and then you've got your horizontal stabilizers, wings going together, and then you're putting your cannons on, which I'd totally leave off right to the end after you've painted, really. Putting your bottom oil cooler system together for the bottom of the cowling, and again, you can have it open or closed, up to you. And then last but not least, before you're putting the final bits on, you've got your drop tank and the prop. To be fair, the blades don't look too bad, but either way. And then you're putting it all together. So you're putting the canopies on and your prop on, and it's done. And you've got these bulges which are different, and again, you look at your references. So that is, the instructions quite straightforward, I think. So the reason why I think this is a bit of a mixed bag is because you get Aeromaster have done the decals for this and the actual paint call out. So you get two schemes where the schemes are actually written down here, and yeah, very nice and interesting, all one piece. And you've got your colour call outs in Model Master, Master Enamels. Does anybody use Polyscale anymore? I don't think so, but if you do, it's on the back, so you might have to do some changes to it. I'm not quite sure, but anyway. And then we have the decals. Oh, printed by, well, not printed, done by Aeromaster. They are Trumpeter, and as you can see, the date is 2003, as I was saying earlier, and they're printed by Cartograph. So very nice. The only downside I've found with these decals is this. Now, whether it's, I don't know what it is, but yellowing or whatever. But anyway, I've only found it really on probably that one actually. But either way, they are very nice. Don't like the swastikas split, so I'd replace them. But either way, they are very nicely done. And I don't know German, so if anybody knows German and can pause that bit, and you can tell us if it's actually written the right way. You never know, it might say drop a bomb on his head, you, yeah. Anyway, nice decals. Alrighty then, so straight on to the first sprue, which is Sprue B. I thought I'd do this one first, and like I said, you've got the lower half and the two upper halves of the wing, and to be fair, it doesn't look too bad, to be honest with you. The rivet detail and the panel lining is very restrained, especially in this scale. Now, I know it's old school Trumpeter, but you don't get oversized rivets that you'd normally probably would get in that same era in 48. So very nicely done. Obviously, the rivet detail and the panel lining might be a bit what if, so you have to look at your reference material, but to be fair, everything looks like a 32nd Hasegawa 109. You might understand where I'm coming from, but either way, you have got this bit of sort of weird thing going on inside this wheel bay, but either way, the other one is nice and clean, and you've got Trumpeter written on there, which whatever, and you've got some nice bracing on there, and you've got a panel on there that you can open up, which is in the instructions, which I think anyway. So yeah, very nicely done, that sprue. Next to no flash, there is a bit here and there, but either way, it is an old school kit. So yeah, that's Sprue B. Now on to Sprue A. Now, like I said, you've got ×2. You've got a non-clear and a clear version, so I'll have a look at just one of them. I'll have a look at the clear sprue in a second, but let's just have a look at this one. So fuselage halves. So the G10 is actually a G14 AS airframe. So basically with a Type 100 cowling, this one, because you've got this bit on the back of here. So the Type 110 was slightly different, but I'll show you that on the cowling as well. So again, the rivet detail and the panel lining looks very nice. You have got some flash here, and that's a bit skew-if. You might need to straighten that out a bit. But either way, looks very nicely done, to be fair. You've got the taller tail, and it's the same case on the other side, obviously. Looks like there's some texture on there, but you know, it might be some release agent or whatever, so you might want to clean the parts. But again, it's very reminiscent of a 32nd 109. And then you've got the bottom cowling there. So everything looks quite smart. And it looks the right shape to me, to be fair. But either way, I have seen people saying it is kind of the right shape, apart from the cowlings on one side. But anyway, we'll come to that when we get to the cowlings. But that is Sprue A for that one. And then, like I said, you've got the clear sprue. Now, to be fair, it's not exactly clear. Straight up against the surface, it might be all right, but as soon as you get slightly in, then it's a bit opaque. So what it's intended for, I wouldn't actually probably use it. It would probably be a bit of a nightmare. But you do get everything there that what you got on the previous sprue. So what you could do, and you've got two canopies, don't forget. So, you ain't got the cowlings. Bugger. What I was going to say is you can probably actually build another fuselage, scratch build the cockpit, scratch build the tail wheel, and then put it on a base, diorama base, like it's crash landed and they're taking the wings off, but you ain't got the tail either. Oh well, scratch that. Okay, so on to the next Sprue Jeeves. So we've got Sprue G, and I thought I'd do this one because it's got the cowling and the rudder and the props. So I thought it would be a nice spin-on from the actual fuselage. So the cowlings are a Type 100. So I'm not sure on what the difference is between the 100 and the 110. But either way, you can't do the earlier version. You might be able to. Somebody might find that, you know, or well, Trumpeter have got it wrong and just done the generic one, which you can basically do either or. But either way, that's what my research tells me. So you can't do an earlier. Either way, so the rudder as well, it's got the two fixed trim tabs. So again, that's an earlier one. So that's later. So that's October 44 to March 45, I think, if memory serves me right. You've got the cannon on there. You've got the bulges. Now, to be fair, the cannon, it looks all right, to be fair. Looks like a 108, so it should do its job. Like I said, you've got the bulges on there. You've got the engine bearers, which, to be fair, are a bit void of detail, to be honest with you. But either way, some scratch building needed there. And also, the props themselves look, to be fair, right to my eye. But to be fair, again, I've not put them against any drawings, and you've got the longer tail wheel. So you haven't got the shorter tail wheel. So again, you might want to scratch build that to do an earlier version. But anyway, nice sprue, doesn't look too bad. Not much in the way of flash. So next sprue is Sprue F. Now you've got your fuel tank, your drop tank, you've got your 20mm cannon pods, which look a bit, they don't look too bad actually. Again, the look Hasegawa-ish, and then you've got your 20mm there, which I've not got drilled out cannon front ends, so for the muzzle. But anyway, and then you've got your spinner bits, and this is always a bode of contention with the spinner. So the spinner might be a wrong shape, it might need to angle it a bit more, I can't remember. But either way, doesn't look too bad, looks all right straight out of the box. So yeah, and to be fair, you could actually replace this with a resin one. Oh no, that's 32nd. Forget about that, scratch that, I'm talking shit. Next up on this sprue extravaganza is Sprue D. Now, you've got all your radiator flaps on this side, you've got your all your landing gear bits and bobs, you've got your horizontal stabilizers, you've got your radiators, and you've got your slats on the front. So we'll start off with these lovely beauties. They don't look too bad, to be honest with you. So nice radiators. Again, the rivet detail is all within the same as the rest of the wings and fuselage. The landing gear looks very nice, to be honest with you. Doesn't look too bad. Quite a prominent seam line going round. The floats, or the weight, shall I say, for the wings, for the ailerons, all one piece, which is good. And these are the centre bits that go into there, which I think is a bit of a gimmick, but either way. And then on the inside of there, you've got a shitload of injection pin marks. My God, why do you need 6? But anyway, and then you've got the same on the slats and the same on the landing gear doors. So you've got a load of injection pin marks to get rid of. But apart from that, not too bad. Okay, so moving on to Sprue E. And as you can see, all the engine parts. Literally, it's very nice to have it all on one sprue. But anyway, so you've got the engine casing, which looks pretty good, to be honest with you. Nothing too elaborate, but don't worry, there isn't that many exhaust stubs. They are halves, so they're hollowed out and you can sort of glue them together. When you glue them together, don't get rid of the seam line because there was a weld seam going around them all. So yeah, just leave it. And then you've got the rest of the bits and bobs. You've got the front of the engine and all the rest of the details. You've got everything that the exhaust stubs stick to, which is different because obviously you can have the cowling open or closed depending on what you want. The back of the engine, to be fair, all the gearbox parts and everything, you would need to scratch build it all and make it really nice, or you could just have it the cowling closed, so it's up to you. But yeah, again, nice sprue, but void of a lot of detail. Alrighty then, moving on to Sprue C, the cockpit. Now there's a particular reason why I've left this to the second to last sprue, and that will become evident when I rotate it. You'll see it in a second. In fact, I'll show you. But anyway, the engine, void of detail, or say not void of detail, but missing quite a bit. This is no exception, so you're going to have to do some scratch building. I am sorry, but either way, what you've got doesn't look too bad. You can sort of work with it. It's not an issue. It's not sort of one of these issues where you would go away and start screaming. You've got injection pin marks, but wait for it, wait for it. Ooh, yeah. Why didn't they put them on the other side? No, they had to put them on that side, but either way. So some injection pin marks to get out of there, but either way, yeah. To be fair, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to do some scratch building. Oh well. Finally, we have this Sprue H2, which, to be fair, looks something a bit of an afterthought. Whether they cut it off another sprue or it was just the case that somebody went, shit, we forgot that one. But either way, it's, yeah. But anyway, this armour plate here sits behind the pilot's head. Now, this has been doing my head in for days. And to be fair, I've not done any research, and I don't know why, but I'm assuming, or I think, that this piece here should be clear, and it should be a piece of armoured glass in there. If so, they have balls up. Oh dear. But anyway, so the rest of the other pieces on here is that you've got a circuit breaker, you've got your gun sight, you've got a few of the bits and bobs here for the wheel and this, that and the other. You've also got the fuel pipe, which is painted yellow, and about there should be clear, so you want to cut it out and put some clear part in there. Also, you've got your machine guns for the top of the cowling, which look not too bad, to be fair. So all the breech will be down here, and you've got the barrels which are drilled out. Now it makes me think that this is an upgraded sprue for 2019, and if so, why did the balls that up? But anyway, that is Sprue H2. Okay, so now on to fuck off. Okay, so now on to the little bits and bobs. So what we have on here is all the rubber bits, which sometimes I bloody hate. But anyway, you've got all your ignition wires for the engine, you've got your brake lines for the landing gear, and then obviously also you've got your rubber tyres, which are hollow. Nah, bin them off. And then moving on to the clear parts. So you get ×2. And to be fair, it's really weird, but can you see that mark just there, along there? You've got the exact same one in this one as well, in exactly the same place, exact same line, That's weird. But anyway, so they look pretty good, to be fair. So let's just have a look at one of them. And to be fair, they are crystal clear. There's no distortion in them, but there is, and I don't know if this is going to pick it out, but you do get, it's very hard to pick it out, but you do get, there we go, some scratches there all the way along. So you might just want to do a bit of polishing, to be fair. And again, the instrument panel's on the other side. The instrument panel's clear and pretty good, to be honest with you. So you've got that thing that goes behind it. But either way, yeah, not too bad, to be fair. Just do a bit of polishing. And finally, we have these little gems in the box. So we've got some nice rod in there, which is your stuff for the control surfaces. You've got your springs for the landing gear, so self-explanatory, don't really need to talk much more on that. So you've got them. And then also you've got the P again for your control surfaces that the rod goes through the hole. Anyway, and then also, which I thought was quite interesting, is you've got an instrument panel there that you'll paint white on the back, stick it onto the plastic part, and then blob some clear over the top of it, and job's a good one. But the cheeky bastards, they're giving us a G6 early version.
Complete bastards!
Is that a G10? Not quite sure. That genned up on the cockpits. But anyway, that is that. And there we have it, boys and girls. The Messerschmitt Bf109G-10 in 24th by Trumpeter. Now, this is my take on it. Obviously, like I said before, you can take away from this review whatever you want to. If you're a 109 expert or a Luftwaffe expert, please don't talk to me. I'm not interested. But either way, to be fair, this 109 looks accurate enough for me to build a G10. Now, like I said during the review, the actual tail, the tail wheel is different to do an earlier one, as well as the cowling. So you'll have to do some scratch building. So look at your references, look at what schemes you want to do, and then judge what you want to do, really. Now, also, if you are a scratch builder and you're really interested, get this kit, because you can do a lot to the engine and to the cockpit. And again, like I showed you with the actual instrument fascia that goes behind the instrument panel, it's a G6, so I'm not totally genned up. I don't know if it's a proper G10 from a G6 cockpit. Might be, who knows. But either way, some bits might not be total G10. So again, do your research. So if you want to scratch build it, that's fine. But if you're a person that just wants to build it out of the box, put it on the table and have something massive on the table, like I've got, not that, then it's impressive enough to put it on the table and you can go to town with it, weathering, painting and doing whatever. So yeah, I kind of forgive it, but it's going against newer kits and the price is still up there. So if you really want one, get one, because like I said, the prices are only going to go further up. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking the usual crap, and I'll see you again on the next video, which will be soon, I hope. Anyway, cheerio. See you later. Bye.